morning everyone. Today's lesson we're going to be learning how to compare objects up to 50 using our greater than and less than symbols. Now I know a lot of you are really good at this now. We have worked with numbers up to 20. Now we're going to be doing the same thing with bigger numbers up to 50, looking at those tens and ones. So here is our starter today. Number one, which symbol means is equal to. So we have three symbols here. Which one means is equal to or the same as? It's this one here, our equal sign. Number two, which symbol means greater than? Is greater than. Which one would we use? It's this one here when we say a number is greater than another number. Which symbol means is less than? This one here is what we use when we say a number is less than another number. Number four, what is the correct symbol to pop in the middle here? So let's find out how many we have on each side by counting on from 10. You can do this with me. 10, 11, 12, 13. 10, 11, 12. So we have 13 and we have 12. Which one of these symbols would we put in the middle to make the statement correct? We would use our greater than symbol because 13 is greater than 12. Okay, let's start our learning for the day. What do we say when we compare objects? What sorts of things do we say when we're comparing different amounts, different numbers? Pause the video and think about some of the words we might use. We might use the word fewer, which is another word for less than. They mean the same thing. Fewer means less. We might use the word more or greater than. They both mean the same thing, more and greater than. Or we might say is equal to or the same as, and then we would need to use our equal sign. So you might hear me saying some of these words today. Okay, so now we have some animals to compare. We have sheep, dogs, tortoises and chickens. I want you to pause the video and find out how many of each animal there are. Okay, have you done some careful counting? We have 10 sheep, 9 dogs, 16 tortoises and 13 chickens. The statement at the bottom here says the number of sheep is greater than the number of, so we have 10 sheep. Is there a number here that 10 is greater than? Pause the video and have a think. We know that 10 is greater than 9. So there are more sheep than there are dogs. The number of sheep is greater than the number of dogs, and you can use your 50 square to help you work out the answers. This time it says the number of chickens is something than the number of tortoises. We want to use the word more or less. So look at the chickens and the tortoises and the numbers. Are there more chickens than tortoises or are there less chickens than tortoises? Pause the video and have a think. Use your 50 squares to help you. The number of chickens is less than the number of tortoises because we know that 13 is less than 16. Now we have some tens frames with counters in, and we need to compare the different amounts using our compare symbol. Okay, we'll do the first one together and then I'll give you a little time to have a go at the others by yourself. So this first one, let's find out how many's on this side first. We have a full 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Remember that number 16 on that side. And this time we don't have a full 10, so let's just count all together, counting our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, they're both 16. They're just arranged in a different way. So what symbol are we going to put in the middle then? We're going to put our equal sign in the middle because we use our equal sign when we have equal amounts, when both amounts are the same. Okay, pause the video and have a go at this one by yourself. Write down the numbers and then put your compare symbol in the middle. Okay, let's find out how many are on this side. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on that side. And, oh, I have a full 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on that side. So we have 13 and 14. What compare symbol do we need to use, which is greater than? Okay, so we've used this symbol here to say that 13 is less than the number 14. And you can see that Blockzilla's mouth is open wide towards the bigger number because it likes to put the biggest number in its mouth, and that's how we can help. That's what can help us remember this one. So now I've got a bit of a challenge for you. We have chicks and we have eggs. Let's find out how many chicks we have to start with. Oh wow, who can work this out really quickly, because I have 3 tens frames and they're completely full up. So do we need to count these individual chicks? No, 3 tens is 30. 10, 20, 30. There are 30 chicks. Now we have some eggs here. Let's see how many I can see so far. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I don't actually know how many are on there because it's covered with a splat. But it does say there are more chicks than eggs. So there's 30 chicks and there's more chicks than eggs. So how many eggs could there be? Oh, you got some working out here to do. Pause the video and have a think. There could be 26 eggs, like we counted. 26 is less than 30, and it says there are more chicks than eggs. So it could be 26, could be 27, or 28, or 29, because they are all less than 30. We know it's not going to be any less than 26 because we can already see there's 26 there. We know that there can't be 30 eggs because it says that there are 30 chicks and there are more chicks than eggs. So a bit of problem solving for us to do there. And there was 28. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through some of your worksheet questions now before you have a go. Number 1 says, draw counters to show the apples. So you'll need to count the number of apples and draw the counters on your tens frame to represent that number. Remember, you need to fill up a 10 before you go on to your next tens frame. That way you can count on from 10 to make it a little bit easier for you. Okay, next one you have children. Okay, count the number of children. Draw counters on your tens frames to represent that number. And then you have some sentences to complete. So you need to put in the number of apples. There are so many apples, and then fill in the number of children. This statement here says there are fewer blank than blank. So you need to fill in those blank spaces to tell me which had fewer than the other, apples or children. Teddy here says all the children can have one apple each. Is that correct? You'll need to go back to your tens frames to try and work that out. Okay, see if you can explain your answer. Now, number 2, you have some tens frames with counters already on them. You need to draw counters on the other tens frame to make the statement correct. So first thing you need to look at is your compare symbol. Does this say that this amount here needs to be less than this number or greater than that number? Once you've found out whether it's greater than or less than, you can draw your counters on to make it correct. And then you have the same to do on this next one here. Okay, this time you've got counters on this side. Have a look at the symbols, see whether this amount here needs to be greater than or less than this amount before you fill in your counters. Okay, this one has 3 tens frames. Remember to count on to find your answer. So count your tens first, then your ones. Once you've worked out what the amount is, you can fill in these 3 tens frames to make the statement correct. Remember, you need to use all 3 for this one. And then the last one, we have an equal symbol. What does the equal symbol mean? It means that it needs to be the same. It needs to be equal to. Okay, so fill in your counters on this tens frame here. And then what I would like you to do is to get another piece of paper, maybe your workbook, and I want you to see if there's more than one answer for each of these, okay? So you can experiment and you can see how many different ways you can make the statements correct by experimenting with your counters.